And here in this bulletin, soccer lovers in the Cape took a break from the beautiful game to visit the jewels of the winelands.
Indulging in the local fare, a choice of over 500 wines from 60 farms. And in the spirit of the season, the soccer vibe came bottled. Italy's deep Cabernet, Argentina's fruity Shiraz, and of course, South Africa's very own Pinotage.
So what we've done is we've tried to basically equate the same characteristics that you look for in a wine and look for those same characteristics in the positions on the field. Then we've used some Pinotage for the midfield to represent something typically South African, and we've added a little bit of Shiraz to show that our strikers are a little bit wild but not always accurate.
The festival is usually held at one venue, but with interest exceeding all expectations, the festival spread its wings. A shuttle service took visitors around the dozens of participating farms.
We decided to take the visitors and the locals to the wine farms. So every wine farm has got a special festival offering. We're loading them into shuttles so that they don't have to drink and drive.
The balls were never far off. Young and old strutted their stuff on a makeshift field of dreams in the vineyards. For 3 days, the best wine and food of the Cape complemented the festive World Cup atmosphere. And for a change, even the Cape's cranky winter weatherman was in a good mood. Crystal Audison, SABC News, Stellenbosch.
Oscar Tabarez hoping to spring a surprise for the Uruguayans tonight. Now, you'd never guess there was a World Cup semi-final here tonight. Quite apart from the fact the weather's really changed overnight from beautiful blue skies to a very strong wind. And no sign at all yet of the fabled Orange Army, the Dutch convoys that travel around South Africa and to many tournaments across the world. Now, they do have this great Dutch colonial history, so you'd expect quite a few of them to be here today. But so far, Cape Town last night was very, very quiet indeed. So where is the Orange Army? Well, we've been up in a helicopter to have a little look for ourselves to see if we could find them. They're not in Cape Town, so we went to the second oldest Dutch settlement in the province of Stellenbosch. It's also the oldest wine growing area in South Africa, and we were expected to see the Dutch football fans retracing their historical roots.
1679, a long time ago, the first Dutchman arrived here in the Cape. We're looking for the Orange Army, a huge convoy of Orange fans heading towards Cape Town. After England, they're probably the biggest contingent here, maybe even the biggest, and no sign so far, but the Dutch are heading here in large numbers.
Except that they're not actually here in large numbers at all, not yet, but we did find the Stellenbosch Wine Festival at Zorgvliet, which they've brought forward especially to coincide with the World Cup. A lot of football fans have been going there, and we did indeed find some Dutch support.
We've seen a lot of people coming through, Brazilians, a lot of Dutch coming through with their camper vans, their army, their touring army.
Any English?
We've had actually quite a few, yeah. We've had
football shirts on, yeah?
And not of late, unfortunately.
They've gone home.
Unfortunately, yeah, probably. But no, a few guys still there.
And just tell us, Anna, I mean, the Dutch history here. I mean, you're Afrikaans, but I mean, do you sort of feel a connection to Holland?
Definitely. Obviously, when Bafana was still in the game, that was my team. But now, I'm orange. I am wearing orange. We're ready for Netherlands to win the World Cup because we share a language and we share history. So it's Hup Holland.
Hup Holland, nice one. You feel the same way, Neil?
I'm rooting for the Germans.
Oh!
Really?
After Saturday's game, they're looking very good.
So is a bit of Dutch heritage. You prefer Germany to win?
Yeah, I actually have a bit of English heritage, actually.
Oh, right. Well, fair enough then.
So
okay.
I'm a bit disappointed, but yeah, I'm rooting for the Germans now.
Yeah, lovely part of the world there in Stellenbosch for that wine festival. The Dutch army, the convoy were expecting to arrive. This is what they look like. We haven't seen head nor tail of them yet, but they're going to be here. They must be here with all the history here and, of course, the team that could go on to win the World Cup. They drive around together earlier in the tournament. They've already been to Cape Town once. They're here in this massive convoy of great splashes of orange everywhere, and we would hope to see them in Cape Town a little bit later on.
Quality of life. That's Stellenbosch in a nutshell. A place people don't just want to visit, but want to up sticks and move to. We took to the air during the annual wine festival and still only scratched the surface of this incredible country life.
Taking advantage of the ferry service to and from the waterfront, Aidan thought he'd beaten the crowds, only to find his guests had beaten him to the festival. Early rising Good Hope FM DJs Ayanda and Sugar opted to start with a cappuccino.
What's been up in your lives recently?
Lots. Trying to find balance between TV, radio, voice work, and trying to keep up with a 2-year-old.
We've just been so busy these past few weeks with the World Cup being here. We've been working hard. We've been at the fan fests. We've been doing other jobs as well. So yeah, it's been a bit of a balancing act.
The festival reflects the town. Those who choose Old World can get it authentically and in abundance. In this case, via carriage ride to wine tastings on your route. For the high flyers, it's as quick and convenient as you like. Annarette Bolton ensures both parties are catered for.
How many wine farms are being showcased?
We have more than 60 participating wine farms in Stellenbosch. So we've got shuttles running between our participating farms so that you don't have to drink and drive. You just hop on and off as you please. And every farm has got a special festival offering.
Down below, vineyards, 4x4 drives, fresh salmon, braais with local winemakers, French music and poikikos. Something for everyone, just like their radio show.
We have just about everybody in Cape Town. You are talking to Ms. Ling, maybe from China. You're talking to Zodwa from Guguletu. At the same time, you're talking to Mrs. Van Wyk out in Bellville. So that makes it exciting, okay?
And we also think that we live in the most beautiful city in the world.
Definitely.
So that really helps, you know, in terms of appreciating natural beauty. Yeah. I mean, just look at the day we're having today. This is just stunning.
One of the delighted hosts was winemaker Rolf Zeitvogel, who enjoys the twin blessings of being a German soccer fan and living in the Bosch.
Rolf, Blauklippen's been around for quite some time.
Well, we're dating back to 1682, and with that we are one of the oldest working wine farms in the Cape. Our values are definitely in the heritage as well in the innovation. I mean, when you take, like, for instance, now the Zinfandel, we brought out the Blanc de Noir, which you just tasted. We brought out the Noble Late Harvest with it, which is unique in the country, and that makes Blauklippen so great with it.
Equally notable innovators in the valley, Hartenberg, made their name by planting Shiraz in the mid-60s, when Cabernet was everything. Today, this foresight gives cellarmaster Carl Schultz arguably the best Shiraz harvest in town.
Carl, we've been to quite a few wine cellars. What's so special about this one?
It's the biggest privately owned bottle maturation cellar in South Africa, underground. Being below ground, you have a vibration-free, quiet, dark facility to mature wines, which is ideal for quality wine.
Storing 150,000 bottles, they can afford to hang on to their reds just that bit longer to give them an edge of maturity.
Perhaps you would indulge us with a quick refresher course on the correct procedure.
Sure. I think the first thing in wine assessment to be looked at is color, just simply by holding the wine glass at an angle. The second thing is to look at the bouquet of the wine. Stir up the wine just to release flavors, have an initial sniff. Of course, lastly, we need to taste the wine. We're looking basically at three things on the palate: the entry sensation, the initial flavors, and then we look at what we call the mid-palate. There'll be a lot of fruit flavors, and then the aftertaste is important because it tells you whether the wine is complex, whether it's going to have the ability to age.
All the richer for their knowledge, and packing a bottle or two from last year's Winemaker of the Year, a stroll through the vines was the ideal way to walk off the day's cheeses, poikis, cappuccinos, snook, and of course, the wine tasting.
I just want to thank you ladies for your time. It's been an enjoyable day to some of the best company I can have.
Thank you very much.
That shuttle service meant no driving and more tasting. This wine fest gets 10 out of 10.
One of the most popular tourism activities down in the Western Cape is the world-renowned Stellenbosch Wine Route, and it just so happens that this year's Stellenbosch Wine Festival coincides with the 2010 World Cup. I'm joined by Annarette Bolton, the CEO of the Wine Route. Annarette, just give us some detail around the festival and what brought it about.
Absolutely. The Stellenbosch Food and Wine Festival is one of the oldest in the country. And about 3 years ago, when we heard about the World Cup and all that, we decided to move our the festival a month earlier so that it's during the World Cup. So Tuesday is semi-final in Cape Town, and this whole festival is just before the semi-final. So we pitch very much towards our locals, because the locals are, we just always thank them for all their business, but we've made sure that the tour guides, the accommodation guides, that they know about the tour, about the festival, and it's been fantastic. We've had so many tourists, so we've decided to have it at the farms this year, the festival. Normally it's under one roof, but this year we're taking people to the wine farms because we have a beautiful wine tourism experience at every farm already. And we've got this very intricate shuttle service taking people around, so no one is drinking and driving, and especially the tourists who don't have their own cars, they just hop on and off as they please.
Ken, you've clearly got into the World Cup vibe, but tell us about the wine festival, the Stellenbosch Wine Festival, and its change of date.
Well, Wine Festival, it made absolutely perfect sense to say we've got this major international marketing campaign bringing people to South Africa. The greatest single asset that South African wineries have is the winery. You know, a wine festival standing behind a table could take place in a banqueting hall in any town, any city, any place in the world and be fairly innocuous. It's pouring wine, it's tasting wine. But to get into the actual spirit of it, to see the beauty of the landscape, to see the beauty of these wonderful old homes, the historic Cape Dutch architecture, I mean, the true jewel of what we have to offer is the land and the winery, more so than just the wine in the glass.
And the response from the World Cup visitors, overwhelming?
Absolutely overwhelming. They are just amazed at how easy it is to get around, how simple it is, that the transport has been fantastic. They're all commenting on transport being fantastic. The fact that they can get in and out of these wineries, they can pop in, the wineries are so friendly, and that South African welcome, that warmness that we're so well known for, is just resounding. You're getting this kind of feedback all the time about, we have had such a great time.
I'd definitely recommend Stellenbosch to anyone who likes their wine and likes their food, and it's great. Beautiful, very child friendly as well.